Hey guys, I'm here with a 450 bike setup. This one is a lot different than the 250 bike setup that I just previously did. This bike setup is more aggressive, but not too aggressive to where you're going to lose control. There's a balance. Also, I do not have a 450 preset. I only have the 250 bike, so I'm going to be using a 450 factory bike for this video. So let's jump right into this. First thing we are going to look at is suspension, mainly because suspension is the most important thing in this game. For the suspension on springs, for fork, I went 2 to the left, and for rear swing arm, I went 2 to the left. For preload on fork, I went 2 to the left, and rear swing arm 2 to the left. For the fork shock absorber, low compression speed, I went 2 to the right, and low extension speed, 2 to the right. For the high compression speed, 1 to the left, and high extension speed, 1 to the left. For the rear swing arm shock absorber, I went on the low compression speed, 2 to the right, and low extension speed, 2 to the right. On high compression speed, I went 1 to the left, and high extension speed, 2 to the right. Now this suspension setup is going to give you a more aggressive setup, so you're going to be riding a little bit more aggressive, but there's also a balance to where it's not going to have you lose control, lose stability, lose traction, all that kind of stuff. Going through rollers, you're not going to lose any kind of momentum. You're just going to keep hammering and hammering, and you're just going to want to keep going. For gear ratio, the first thing you're going to want to change is the final ratio. I put it to short. And then on first gear, I have it 2 to the left. Second gear, I have it 1 to the left. Third gear, I have it 1 to the right. And for fourth gear, I left it right in the middle. Now the whole point of this is I wanted to get to certain gears really fast, but once I get into third and fourth, I'm able to rev it out a little farther. So mainly I could be in these two gears the whole entire race. And second gear mainly in like sharp turns. For brake response, I went aggressive. This is a little different. This is just to give me a more aggressive riding style, because I feel like on a 450 you have to be a little bit more aggressive. For the accelerator mapping, I also went aggressive. Now at the bottom it's going to say it makes acceleration more sudden for a more nervous riding style. You don't really notice any kind of nervous riding style. And last but not least, wheelbase. So for wheelbase, I went long. This is just to give me more stability over all the aggressive riding style. Therefore, I feel like it's balanced once you put this wheelbase to long. Now that we have the bike setup up and running, now I'm going to show you how it does on Kegums. Alright, so I chose this track because it has both worlds pretty much. So I'm able to get into these gears pretty good. It takes flat landings like that. I don't lose any kind of control anywhere. Pretty stable. Very aggressive. This is actually one of my favorite bike setups I've done. Now I spent about, I think like 3 hours just trying to figure out something that works. There you go, and I got a faster lap time too by a second. So that is the bike setup. Now, this is by far my favorite bike setup. I think it works really well. You know, it has the both of both worlds for this bike setup. It's really good for cornering. It's really good for fast straights. It's really good to handle potholes and you know, long rollers. I actually gained more speed going through those rollers than I did, you know, stock. And it takes flat landings pretty good. Another thing I've noticed is my guy, even though he's very aggressive now, he also is very stable at the same time, and I think that's where the wheelbase, it being at long, I think that's where that comes into place. So it's pretty balanced, I say, and I think this is really going to be a good setup for either career mode or playing online if you're that kind of person that wants to be aggressive, because come on, we're all competitive and we want to be aggressive and, you know, stick a wheel in and show the person in front of us that we're right there. That is my 450 bike setup. I hope it works for you guys. If it does not, I am sorry. This bike setup works for, you know, it works for me. It's not gonna work for everyone, but if it does, let me know. If it doesn't and you find something else that's better than this, you know, share it with me. I would like to try it. There's always going to be another setup that's a lot better, and I'm just putting out these videos to help anyone that's struggling at the moment until they find something better than what I have. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys in the next one.